Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's brother Emma over another video, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Racha HaKodash. Double honors as always goes out to our beloved apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and of course to the great multitude of Israelites. Listen, for salvation is this truth is for us only, man. Yeah, man. Let me start Job 5:17. It says, "Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High Yahweh correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty," man. That sort of thing. The chastening of the Lord takes men out of this thing, man. They can't handle it. They don't understand the scriptures. We're supposed to suffer, man. We are. I don't know a brother close to me in this truth that's not suffering in one way or another, man. Alright? It's just part and parcel of this journey, man. It's part and parcel of this truth. You come into this thing, it talks about that in Ezekiel. You come into this thing and everything's hunky-dory, the truth, you're Israelite, the kingdoms for you, only Edomites are going to be destroyed, all that stuff, but then it hits you, man. The longer you're in this thing, the more trials and tribulations you're going to have to go through, and then you know that the ultimate trials and tribulations are on their way, but, this isn't for the light-hearted, man, or the soft belly is the soft of heart, man. This is for the hardy. This is for the hardy, man. So, I'm not going to put brothers' business out there, but brothers have been going through some real shit, man. Hardcore suffering, and it's all, at the end of the day, it's all relative. Like, one man's tribulations might not be the same to another, but they're to you, it's something heavy, man. Let's get that in Ezekiel, man. What is it? Ezekiel's commission, it says, Ezekiel 3:1, it says, "Moreover he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel." This is what we did, man. We studied what we needed to study at the time, because we still study, we're still on that journey of the truth. And we studied what we needed to study. We learned what we needed to learn in order to go out on the highways and the edges, man, and speak unto the house of Israel, meaning prophesying unto our people, man. Right? So it says, "So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll," meaning that, that's the scriptures, right? "And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then I did eat it, and it was in my mouth as sweet as honey for sweetness." So that's what it was like when we were discovering the truth, man. When we were discovering the real truth of the scriptures of who we are. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Esau, Edom, the promises, the curses, the future. It was sweet, man, because it was like, it was a revelation. It was like, wow, man, we're not what the world thinks we are. We're not, what Esau tells the world we are, man. We're the best. We're the chosen of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Deuteronomy 7:6. You couldn't read that enough, man. Right. So that was that. That was when it was in our mouth as honey for sweetness, right? So he said unto me, "Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them." right? And that's what we did, right? But there's another one I'm looking for as well. Sugar, how's it go again? So select it. If it comes to me, I'll get it. I have this a lot, man. But, you know, a lot of the times it comes, but, you know, it comes back, you know, through the spirit. You know, you go and you go carry on the lesson, and you actually end up getting the scripture that you was thinking of in the first place. But it's all through the spirit, man. Anyway, moving on. Let's not drag that out. You know. But yeah, man. Getting back to the point. This the sweetness is taken away once there's those tribulations and trials, okay, come upon you, man. Illness, sicknesses, you know, illness, disease, even diseases of the mind, money issues, issues with your woman, issues with your family, you know, anything you can think of, man. You know, we're not immune to none of that stuff in the truth, man. In fact, it increases, man. And it's all to tempt you, man. Yeah, right. This is Sirach 2:1. It says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble." Constantly endure, man. You know, it's not a constant slog. The Lord gives you respite, man. It even increases what you have sometimes. Alright? For whatever reason, man. It's up to you, Basham Rashad, man. But you know, don't take these things for granted, man. And always remember that whatever you get now, man, we're not gonna have it, you know, near the end. All that's going to be taken from us, man. We're going to be pilgrims on the earth, man. You know, not all of us. Some of us are even going to be put to death, man. Or are locked up in prison houses, man, and accused of, you know, being accused of things that we haven't done. So that's more suffering, man. That's even the suffering that you go through now is nothing to even what's coming. How about that? Verse 3 says, "Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end." Right? "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." So you gotta remember, man, when you're getting jacked up in the spirit by the Lord, man, you gotta really kick back and think, wow, you know, the Lord is hitting me up, man. At least he's doing that, because that means that listen, if you're having an easy ride in this truth, man, maybe you ain't in it. You know, maybe you ain't in it, man. Verse 5 says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." That's talking about purifying, man. You know, to purify the metals, man. You gotta melt them down. Right? All the what's the word? You know, all the crap basically comes out of it, man. All the imperfections come out, and you purify it and make it perfect, man. So that is what we are going through, right? Where was this? Like, verse 6 says, "Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside lest ye fall." So, you know, when you go through them trials, man, mercy's coming, man. Otherwise, I wouldn't say that. It says, Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old and see. The old prophets, man, the prophets that are back today, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Alright? It's all about trusting the Lord, man. That's why the Lord puts you through these things, because, there's accounts of people not trusting the Lord. Job's wife, Lot's wife, it's a lot of women failed that test, man. Well, if you know it, not a lot of women, but as you can see, women often fail that test, man. So it's all about that trust, man. That trust in the Lord, man. That's what's gonna get us through in the darker times, man. Remember when Yahushua was on the boat, man. In fact, let me get that, man. What it's all about, I might as well just get it. So talking. Might as well just get it. These aren't fables, man. These are facts, man. Where am I? Matthew 8. Right, discipleship tested, man. We're disciples too, man. Right? Matthew 8:18 says, now when Yahushua saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahushua saith unto him, Yahushua, for those that don't know, is the real name of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, man. His name is Yahushua. Right? He that delivers. Right? It says the foxes have holes and the birds have of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. He had to go to people's, he had to go to people's places to get respite and rest and food, man. You know what I'm saying? This is Yahushua, man. Our Lord and Savior, man. The Son of God, the Son of Yahweh, the Son of the Most High, man. Right? And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me to go first and bury my father. I'm just getting to the point by reading this. But Yahushua said unto him, follow me and let the dead bury their dead, man. It sounds cold, but look, man, this truth is the most important thing, man. Alright, because you're going to have to forsake loved ones and that who ain't falling in line with this truth. That's the bottom line, man. And even that's suffering, because you love your loved ones, man, but knowing that a lot of them are probably going to perish on this side, man, that's suffering in itself. That's the suffering of the mind, man. Your thoughts. Verse 24 says, and behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he saith unto them, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was great calm. But the men marveled, saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? Right, so they didn't believe, man. They were the son of man. They were Yahushua, man. And that's how people are all over, man. But remember back in the days, Moses, Mount Sinai, But after all the miracles that they saw, they still went off, man. So our people are inherently niggers, man. That's the moral of that story. But we don't want to be, them guys. Oh, you have a little faith, man. This, the things you see when Yahushua brings you through. Listen, all the things that you've ever been through in this truth, like this, you've been through them, man. Which means what? That should strengthen your faith. Do you believe in Yahushua or not, man? Do you believe in Yahushua or not? Alright, you're supposed to apply that belief in life, man. In this life here, man. That's why you gotta pray. And I'm talking to when we do these lessons, man, we ain't just talking out of our ass into the air, man. We're talking to ourselves as well, man. You know what I mean? We're talking to ourselves, man, because we know there's always room for improvement. There's always room to increase in this. This is Hebrews 12:4. It says, "Have you not yet rested unto blood, striving against sin? Slacker, ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin." Because it is a strive, man. And that's the difference. And I always say this, in this truth, man, it's striving against sin. In the world, you don't even consider it. It's just normalities. It's every day, man. It's same shit, different day. But in this, we have to be on our guard of how we do things, man. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to go off. We don't want to just go against Yahweh Shai, man. So we always, go. If you do something, you go off, man. It's sickening. It's a sickening feeling, man. Even though you have repentance through Yahweh Shai, through the sacrifice, it's still horrible, man. Because it's like, we're going to get into it, it's like disappointing your father, man. There's nothing worse than your father being disappointed in the son. Sometimes that can be worse than the anger, man, when you let someone down. This is Hebrews 12:4. It says, ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. It's going to explain it. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, Yahweh dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? Chastisement is a form of love, right? You don't chastise your children or tell them off, right, or whatever it is you do, to correct your children, within, in the righteous sense, not beating them half to death like some of these jakes do, especially some of the women, man. I'm just going to say that's because that's for real, right? That's not how you do it. Scriptures say train up a child the way you should go, and it's better to do that than you do less of the other stuff, man. But you do those things if you're in your right mind. You're doing it to correct your child for their own good, for their safety, for their health, for their their education, their enlightenment in them, to know what's right and to know what's wrong, man. That's why you do it. But it says, but if ye be without chastisement, whereof all the partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. Right? Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chastened us, Slakia, after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, Because a lot of the time, that's what I'm saying. A lot of the times when Jake's losing the plot, crashing out, and going over the top with the discipline, man, it's just because their emotions take over and they're angry. They're not really doing it because they're trying to correct a child, man. Because look, if you're doing it correctly, that stuff doesn't even have to occur, man. You know, beating your children isn't an everyday normal thing. It shouldn't be. Listen, I got my arse whipped by my mum a couple of times. Literally a couple of times in my life, man. But you know, I'll say this, man. I've never had to lay my hand on my seed. And it's, you know, I've got a daughter, man, but it don't matter. I was beating the doors every day. But the difference is that you train them up the way they should go, man. And you wouldn't have to have that trouble, man. And you got to thank your Yahweh Shem Yoshai for the blessings, man. Because in this world, to have a child that you don't really have to deal with like that is a blessing, man. You know, and I don't take credit for myself, man. That's what I'm saying. It's a blessing from Yahweh Shem Yoshai, man. There's enough in this world. We have to deal with enough bullshit in this world, man, without, you know, having to worry about things like that. So sometimes that's another blessing that the Lord puts on you to ease the rest of the suffering, man. Verse 11 says, "Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby." Meaning that, alright, you know, sometimes parents say this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you when they're about to whip some ass. But at the end of the day, the things you have to do sometimes when you're chastising the children, in the end, it's like we all grow up. And those of us who had reasonable chastisement from our parents look back and say, yeah, man, that didn't do me no harm. In fact, it corrected me. You know, a lot of people say things like that, man. A lot of people say things like that. So, you know, just endure, man. Just endure. Right, this is Matthew 7:13. It says, "Enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." Meaning, the way to this salvation, the way to the kingdom, is a hard way, man. I'm gonna get that word straight, because when said, it sounds like, you know, the other you know, direction, but it doesn't mean that.
Strong's G 4728 stenos.
And look, it says narrow, straight, but look, let's get it in the don't over rely on the blue letter, man. Let's see what it says here. Right, so really you want to be looking at straights, the sense of difficulty, plight. Alright, that's what it is. That's why there's a term in the world called dire straits, meaning you're in dire difficulties, man. Alright. So yeah, you know, you gotta just expect it, man. Stop expecting an easy way, man. If you know, people really get it in there. When I say people, I mean men in this truth. have really got to get in their minds about what's about to go down for us, man. You have to be meditating on that, really thinking about it, yeah. Why am I going there again? What am I doing? I don't need to go back there. So that's the point that's been made on that. But yeah, man, you know, this thing of ours, it's no joke, man. The scriptures, there's a scripture I'm trying to think of, where is it now? Let me try and find out on my phone quickly. That's it, yeah. I just want to make a point of this because, you know, like there's a lot of suffering in this truth, and some brothers are passed on to the next world, man. You know, they're in the spirit realm, man, just waiting upon Yahushua to come down, and they're gonna come back too, man. They're gonna come back too, right? But they've had mercy. Right? Let's read this. It says, the righteous perisheth, and no man layeth it to heart. And merciful men are taken away, none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. So, you know, obviously, if brothers were to pass in this thing, we'd mourn and we'd be very sad to see them go, man. But ultimately, in our hearts, we'll be happy, man. You know why? Because they've been protected from this wicked shit that's about to go down on this earth. You know, that the elect are gonna have to go through, man. You know, Lord willing, I'm of that number, right? But the men that have passed on already, they have mercy. That's a mercy killing, man. That is a mercy killing. Even the wicked of our people, man. Although they're going to come back through childbirth, that's a mercy killing if you die before we're staying down, man. How about that? We're in the last generation. There ain't no repeat after this, man. This is it, because we're near the end. We're near the end now, man. There's no doubt about it. We are near the end. You see what's popping off. Iran, Israel, you know, the wickedness increasing, all these protests going on across the world. King Trump is going absolutely loony out there in Babylon. Right? The man can't be stopped. You know, and that's great. It just means we're near. He's doing everything to bring that those internal wars, man, them civil wars. You know. I don't know why I'm here. I forget this. I don't even know. I forgot what I was coming here for. But yeah, I'm just going to get a couple more scriptures, man. That'll be that, but... forget this. I don't even know what I'm looking for right now. So Matthew 10:34. Think not that I'm come to send peace on earth, says Yahushua. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter against in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. And that's another thing that's happening to brothers, man. Men having to leave their households and stuff because of the wickedness, or because of just people bucking up against the truth, or just because you need to do that. For whatever reason, the Lord has made that happen, man. But don't think just because the Lord gets you away from those people you used to know that you don't. That's not suffering. That was your family, man. They're still your family, but now they're not. Maybe you're not with them anymore. That's suffering in itself, man. Some brothers are just straight up lonely in this truth, man. And I say it might sound strange, right? Just because brothers meet up on camp days, and they're loving brothers, and they have good relationships with them brothers, and they might go out and eat and drink and whatever, and it's genuine brotherhood. You can still feel lonely, man. Some people can have all the so-called friends in the world and still feel lonely, because there's different types of loneliness, man. So I'm just stressing the point that, this ain't an easy thing. The Christians, they're singing and dancing every week at church, man. Why? Because they don't understand what this thing is about. They think you're supposed to get blessings now when you're a believer. The prosperity doctrines that they believe in, man. It ain't about getting anything now. It's about waiting for the kingdom, man. And I'll just read this for the last bit here, and I'm gonna close. Matthew 10:39 says, "He that findeth his life." No, it's like And he that taketh his 38, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. Right, we've got crosses to bear, man. That's the weight that we have to carry through this truth. Like Yahushua had to carry the cross, man. The cross was so heavy, and the punishment on the way, was so bad that he needed help, man. And brothers are going to go through that. But we're going to go through that, man. Simon had to help him, man. And we're not going to get any help, except we are going to get help from Yahushua, man. That's why you have to endure. What was I reading? Yeah. And he that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. Right, and I'm going to read one more scripture. Therefore, and so look at the heading, man, be strong, man. This is 2 Timothy 2:1. It says, "Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Hamashiach Yahushua, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also." So we have to teach for teachers to others to teach. "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Hamashiach." That's it, man. Alright? That's it. And I'm going to close on that note, man. So with that, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Hashem, Racha HaKadosh, double honor to the apostles, the elders, the bishops, the great millstone. And peace and blessings to the elect, man. Those men that are enduring, man. Right? You know, may blessings be upon you to continue to do so, man. So with that, you know, we'll witness this edifying, and I'll say shalom, man.